Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as the Dallas Cowboys face the New York Giants. And for the Giants, who are healthy, the task is simply they have to win, and Green Bay has to lose to Tampa Bay down in Tampa. I'm Pat Summerall. The situation with the Cowboys, they don't need a win. They have the bye next week. John Madden, what do you think the situation is as far as who's going to play for the Cowboys and who is not?
Well, I think that Barry Switzer has decided that he's going to rest his players. He's not going to play Troy Aikman. He's not going to play Michael Irvin. Emmett Smith isn't even dressed. And I think, as he said last night, he said he'd rather have a healthy machine going into the playoffs and oil it up later than have an unhealthy machine going into the playoffs. But they still want to win the game today. I think Rodney Peete has to come up big, their defense and special teams.
And, of course, the pressure's on the Giants. They have to win. Do you think they have a chance?
Well, you know, they got blown out the last time they played, but I think they have more of a chance here for a number of reasons. One, they won 5 in a row. Dave Brown has confidence. I think they've done an outstanding job of coaching. This is a different team. And I think that, you know, they'll run the ball. They'll play action. Their defense has to come up big. Their special teams. And then the other thing, I think they have a big advantage playing in this stadium, in this weather, with this wind, because this is hitting weather.
And coming up, it's the Giants and the Cowboys from Giant Stadium. John and I'll be back for the opening kickoff when Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages from your local station. The Cowboys won the toss, and they'll receive. Brad Daluiso to kick off to Kenny Gant and Kevin Williams. The weather is not nearly as bad as what had been forecast. Daluiso's kick sails to Kevin Williams, and he'll stay in the end zone. And let's have a look at who starts at quarterback. It's going to be number 8.
Well, he told you in the pregame warm-up that he wanted to play the first half. They said that he wasn't going to play. They said he and Michael Irvin weren't going to play. But on this first play, there's Troy Aikman going in there and Michael Irvin.
So the Cowboys have it 1st and 10 from the 20.
I think Troy Aikman talked Barry Switzer into something.
You got the feeling when we talked with the coach last night, he didn't really want Troy to play. But Troy, as you said, told me he wanted to play the first half. Darrell Johnson gets the carry. Emmett Smith is inactive, so we won't see number 22. Carlton Bailey made the stop. And let's look at the Cowboy lineups now. Troy Aikman starts at quarterback. In front of him, Tuinei, Newton, Stepnoski, Derek Kennard, and Larry Allen. And the ball handlers, Blair Thomas starting at tailback, number 32, Darrell Johnston. Irvin and Harper and Novacek, the 3 receivers. 2nd and 9. Johnston in motion. Aikman, Novacek. It'll bring up a 3rd and short. Jarvis Williams knocked him out of bounds with Carlton Bailey. Here's the Giant defensive unit. The 4 up front, Strahan, Howard, Fox, and Hamilton. The 3 linebackers, Brooks, Bailey, and Miller. Randolph and Sparks, the corners, Booty and Williams, the safety men. 3rd, they need 2 for a first. 2 tight ends for Dallas. Aikman will throw it. Aikman was hit just as he let it go by Mike Fox.
Wait, and Mike Fox hit him, Pat, and that ball comes out straight up in the air. Watch Mike Fox. He's number 93. He's going to break through right there, and he hits Aikman just as he starts to throw the ball. And watch the ball as it comes out. It just goes straight up in the air. Well, that could have been a turnover there if there were any Giant close to that one. Big play for the Giant defense.
Giants playing in their throwback uniforms. The Cowboys in their new uniforms. John Jett. Dave Meggett back deep. Says get away from it. And the ball is down by the Cowboys at the 31-yard line. Dave Thomas downed it. The Giant offense will be led by number 17, Dave Brown. You could see him gaining confidence every week. In fact, last week against the Eagles, his top production day of all time for him as a pro. Elliott, Roberts, Williams, Smith, and Riesenberg in front, with Brown in the backfield. Hampton, Aaron Pierce, Mike Sherrard, Chris Callaway, and Howard Cross. 2 tight ends, or 1 tight end and an H-back. Quick count, Hampton. Hit by Dixon Edwards. The Dallas defense, so very quick. The front 4, Haley, Lett, Maryland, and Tolbert. Darren Smith, Robert Jones, and Dixon Edwards, the 3 linebackers. Larry Brown back at 1 corner, Kevin Smith at the other. Washington and Woodson, the 2 safeties. 11 Pro Bowlers on this Cowboys squad. 2nd and 5. Hampton, the lone setback. Aaron Pierce in motion. Brown to Hampton. Not much. Maybe a yard. Robert Jones, the first to make the hit. Darren Smith with an assist.
It's one of the things the Giants wanted to do today, Pat, is to go slot. And by putting both receivers on the same side, that gets a strong safety, Darren Woodson, out there. See, they get Woodson here, and they get James Washington here. So they put the 2 safeties out there by going slot, and they think that that gives them a better chance to run because the safeties can't get involved in it.
3rd and 3. Brown to throw it. Wheels it in the direction of Aaron Pierce. And that's just not a very good throw.
And of course, they don't want to rely. I mean, they hate to have to rely on those 3rd down passes. I mean, they would like to get into 3rd and short so they can run it, and they don't like to leave themselves 3rd and anything more than 2 yards. That has been a tough thing for this Giant team.
Horan back deep to punt, the left-footed kicker. Kevin Williams deep for Dallas. Got it out of there. Williams says get away from it. Now he gathers it in himself and gets out of bounds at about the 22-yard line, where Dallas will take over with their 2nd possession, and Aikman will return at quarterback.
Disclosure now playing.
For the Giants to get into the playoffs, Green Bay has to lose against Tampa. This is the first touchdown of that game in Tampa Bay. Edgar Bennett with a Packer touchdown. So the Packers have broken on top. And if they win, the Giants are out. But that's not the important factor right now. 1st and 10 Cowboys at their own 22. Blair Thomas, the ex-Jet, ex-Patriot, ex-Penn State All-America.
You know, we were talking to Nate Newton last night. He was saying how the offensive line would just like to take it and just pound the ball. You know, just go there and run. They think that if there's anything they've gotten away from this year, even when Emmitt Smith was playing, is just running and just let the offensive line take off and man-to-man and pound. He said if there's anything different in the Cowboy offense this year, that's been the big thing.
Blair Thomas outside the 30, short of a first down by about 1.5 yards. Michael Brooks made the stop.
Hey, I was really surprised to see Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin go out there because, you know, last night talking to him, if it was raining, Barry Switzer said he wouldn't play, and Troy said he wouldn't play, and it rained this morning, and then I guess just the game time it dried up, and they decided, what the heck? He told you he wanted to play a half, so let's go.
And he's playing. 3rd and short. Blair Thomas. Close. And he should have it. He was saying after his first, well, let's look at it again.
He's going to take off and just run right in here. Here's big Derek Kennard, big Larry Allen, Stepnoski to center. Get right in behind that group. Then they get him a pretty good lane, and all you have to do in short yardage is find a soft spot, and Blair Thomas found that.
That's A.G. in motion, and Darrell Johnston, the deep back. Aikman drops it out to him. And the Moose gets outside the 35, about the 36, stopped by Thomas Randolph.
Yeah, with Emmitt Smith out of there, they're talking about playing Darrell Johnston some as a tailback, and that's what they did on that play. They threw him a swing pass. Darrell Johnston, the Moose, was saying, well, one thing I know they're not going to do is they're not going to run me on a draw. Because he does all those things that you don't see all the time.
That's
like,
right.
Making the tough blocks, the blitz pickups, and all those things that make it possible for the other guys.
Blair Thomas is back in. Here's Aikman back to throw it. Intended for Alvin Harper. Broken up by Sparks.
You know what Aikman says? He says you always have to have your feet ready to throw. And he didn't have his feet ready to throw. Now, when he doesn't have his feet ready to throw, this happens at the other end. And the cornerbacks are really getting a jump. You see how that right foot slipped a little?
Mm-hmm.
And then by the
Look at the
time
ball.
he was bringing that ball up, and that's why he got the wobble on it. He says all good passes for him start with his feet. That one started bad with his feet.
3 wide receivers. Aikman back to throw it. Protection's good. The pass is complete to Novacek. First down in Giant territory. Tito Wooten brought Novacek down.
Yeah, it's interesting. Dan Reeves was saying yesterday about the guys that he worries about. And he mentioned these two guys here, Jay Novacek, number 84, their tight end, and Darrell Johnston. He said those are the guys that get the first downs that you better stop. And they're tough to stop. And that, and when Troy Aikman really gets into sync and in a rhythm, those two guys are a big part of that rhythm.
Here's Blair Thomas. Another Cowboy first down. Stopped by Booty and Jarvis Williams, the 2 safety men. Good hole.
You're going to see here again, it's just I formation. Just take off, hand the ball, and just pick a hole. This is what the Cowboys do well. Just get a man on a man, a body on a body, and let that back pick a hole. Because other than Stepnoski, number 53, the center, those bodies are so big, you're going to find a little crack in there somewhere.
He had said against New Orleans he was in too big a hurry to pick that hole. He had to take his time. Here's Thomas again. Taken down by Booty.
I think Blair Thomas should have stayed outside or stayed inside that time. There's nothing outside. But look at that 1990 draft, Pat, and these were the first-round running backs taken. The Jet took Blair Thomas with the 2nd pick of the draft. Jeff George was the first pick that year. And then Emmitt Smith was the 17th back taken. 17th round, I mean. 2nd back taken.
And by all standards, Emmitt Smith by far the best one of that bunch. Here's Aikman. Has to come out of there. He's got some room. And Aikman is to the 25. First down.
I don't think he wants to do much of that today.
No. He's wearing a knee brace, which in the beginning was very uncomfortable for him, but now is better.
Here they just lost his contain. You see on the left side they run a stunt and they get caught inside. So when Aikman looks, he didn't have anything open. He was getting pressure, but because of that stunt, they stunted themselves right out of any containment.
Good block by Blair Thomas to open up that left side.
I think when Troy Aikman runs, they all want to block good.
Yeah. That's Blair Thomas. Nudges it right to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Keith Hamilton and Mike Fox stop him.
What happened to Kennard? Did you see him? He was going backward. Someone was pushing him backward. Blair Thomas ends up going backward. Well, watch Kennard. I don't know how he gets back in here, and he ends up on Larry Allen back here, and there's a big old pile of about 800-pound guy right in there. Watch number 60. He's Kennard, the right guard. He gets stood up. And then he gets pushed right back. Now watch him go down. He goes down on his guy Larry Allen. There's a whole bunch of beef in that hole.
I'll tell you. AG in motion. Johnston's a deep back. And Aikman back to throw it. Lofts it out to Darrell Johnston again, and no gain. Marcus Buckley and Jesse Armstead.
You notice how every stadium in this country now, when Darrell Johnston does anything, they give that moose call. The opponent players hate it. The home players hate it. The Giants were saying yesterday that, you know, that's okay. Do that in Dallas, but don't give them that moose stuff down here in the Meadowlands.
Well, it's everywhere, as you say.
I know it, and every opponent hates it when they do it in their stadium.
Third down. About 13. Aikman on the reverse to Kevin Williams. Kevin Williams down to the 20. Knocked out of bounds by Jarvis Williams.
Cowboys look like they haven't decided whether they're going to go for it on fourth down or they're going to try they're going to try the field goal. Like there were a while there, they thought they were going to go for it.
Chris Bonio. Novacek will be the holder. And this kick is going to be from 37 yards away. A tricky win from his right to left as the ball gets up high. And Bonio is good. And Dallas leads the Giants 3-0. 4:42 left in the first. Cowboys 3, the Giants nothing. First quarter.
You can't beat this time of year in New York.
Very festive.
The most festive, I think.
Without question. Boniol, who just hit that 37-yard field goal to kick it off. Meggett and Marshall back deep for the Giants.
A shot of Bill Bates, number 40, one of the best cover guys that ever played this game.
Good kick. Arthur Marshall. Woodson knocked him out of bounds. Not only a Pro Bowl defender, down on special teams as well. 3-0 Dallas. 3-0 Dallas at Giants Stadium. The Giants have to win and Green Bay has to lose for the Giants to make the playoff. And the Packers are leading Tampa Bay 7-0 in the first.
So that's a bad start then. That that double dip is the wrong end for both of them.
Yep. Kenyon Rashid in the backfield now with Rodney Hampton. Hampton behind Roberts. Stacked up for no gain. Tony Tolbert. Not in the Pro Bowl, but boy, what a year he's had.
And they played that well. I mean, the Cowboy defensive line outside, they're not a big defensive line. I mean, you look at Tolbert, he's not a big guy. Haley's not a big guy, but they're real fast. Then they got those 3 fast linebackers in pursuit. And you may get a little hole for a while, but you don't keep it long because of that speed.
Second down. Brown. Underthrows Mike Sherrard. Right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
Hey, Pat, with the Packers up 7-0 already, the defense got into the act as Sean Jones knocks the ball loose from Eric Rett. It's recovered by teammate George Coates of the Green Bay team, and the Packers drive it down to the 1, but then Tampa Bay's defense rises to the challenge. Hardy Nickerson with the stop, and it's still 7-0. Back to Pat and John.
And back here at Giants Stadium, it's 3-0 Dallas. 3rd and 10 for the Giants. Haley from behind with Jim Jeffcoat. Take down Dave Brown.
That's why you don't want to get 3rd and 10, because Jumbo Elliott is going to have a heck of a time. Here's Charles Haley right here. Charles Haley, probably the best pass rusher in football right now as a defensive lineman. Here he just uses speed. He just goes right by Jumbo. Jumbo isn't what he used to be. He has that bad back and stuff and doesn't move like he used to. And if you don't move like you used to, you're not going to be able to block Charles Haley.
He even held him and couldn't keep him away.
Not only couldn't keep him away, didn't even slow him down when he held him.
Evan Williams looking, And the Giants down in a hurry, but the Cowboys take over at their own 46. 3:17 left in the first. Dallas 3-0. How'd you like to make a living covering punts?
Well, tough guys do that. Watch Jesse Armstead. He's 98. 41 is Dave Thomas. Armstead gives him a a rip up. Thomas stays with him, and he ends up in a takedown. Now that was a cover and a block on a punt return
and a takedown.
I'll tell you, I think if you want to find out where the toughest guys are that don't play every down, look on kickoff coverage and punt coverage.
They better be, or they won't last very long. Aikman to Blair Thomas. Thomas got just a couple. There's Dan Reeves. I don't know how much you can say about what a great job he's done.
Well, he's trying to do a great job now. The Giant offense is -1 so far, and Dave Brown, has confidence, but he sure doesn't look like he has much confidence thus far. And he was saying that's one of the things that he wanted to do. He wanted to start off good, get his confidence in this game, and get the fan on the Giant side early in the game, and that hasn't happened.
That -1 is -1 total yards. Aikman read the blitz quickly. Gets it out to Tommy Agee. Jarvis Williams also.
This is one of those things where you have a hot receiver. You see Aikman is going to throw. Corey Miller isn't blocked, so he just had to get rid of that ball.
It better be hot and ready. 3rd and 5 at the Giant 49. 3-0 Dallas. Darrell Johnston on the move, and Aikman back to throw it. Aikman rushed and pushed, knocked backwards with the push by Eric Howard.
Eric Howard looked like he could have sacked him, but he thought that Aikman was going to get rid of the ball. Watch, Eric Howard is right here. He's going against Nate Newton there. He just takes an outside shoulder and just powers right through Nate Newton. It looked like with the way he pushed him, he thought that Troy Aikman had already thrown the ball.
Looked like it.
That was a heck of a move. That was a power move over a guy that weighs 330 pounds.
And a push that sent the quarterback reeling. Line drive kickoff by John Jett. Meggett fields it. Out of bounds at about the 30. Even in weather conditions like this, the rain, the wind, the Christmas season in the Meadowlands,
Merry Christmas.
you can still cook.
Oh yeah, you have to. You still have to eat. In fact, you need more eating.
A little brisket.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to put that stuff. You have to have stuff that sticks to your ribs around this time of year.
This kind of weather.
Remember that guy? The last time we saw him was out there all by himself with a lot of food.
He gathered some friends this time.
And now he has a lot of people and no food. Before he had a lot of food and no people that time. He gets things backwards. Santa Claus is on his way.
Here's Brown. Swings it to Howard Cross, who breaks one tackle. Charles Haley runs it down. Howard Cross has had some shoulder problems, and he's wearing a harness to keep him from raising his arm too high. You never know it.
Now you can see it there in his left arm. You can see just below his shirt sleeve. You can see the bottom of that harness.
Hampton and Rashid. 2nd and 4. That's Hampton. Hampton, first down, Moore. Knocked out of bounds by Larry Brown.
That's the way you take advantage. Now watch Charles Haley here. The way to take advantage, he's going to make a stunt move to the inside. Now when he does that, you can bounce it right off that area where he left. You see, he's going in there. You see when he gets caught inside there? You see what that hole does? Then the inside guy doesn't get outside, and you attack him and hit him where they stun him.
Hampton again. Rodney Hampton hit his midfield. He has become the first Giant ever to record 4 career 1,000-yard seasons.
And he's been a big part of this success of this Giant team when they have success. The combination of the running game and good defense.
And when you say ever, that's a compliment. That's the end of the first quarter with the score Dallas 3, the Giants nothing. Dallas 3, the Giants nothing. Busy Christmas Eve.
Yeah, you can put a ribbon around anything, can't you?
Yep.
You put it around a big old building like that. What if someone was going to get that under their tree?
The ribbon of their building.
No, that building. That's what I want. That one you already got wrapped. Just give me that for
that
Christmas.
building.
It's all wrapped up.
Yeah. Real estate for Christmas. Rodney Hampton back deep. Here's Dave Brown to throw it with time. Incomplete. Mike Sherrard, I believe, was the intended receiver. Right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
Pat, Green Bay was stopped the last time we showed you this. Not this time. Little fade pattern. Favre to Sharp. Touchdown. Green Bay on top 14-0. 5th consecutive 1,000-yard receiving season for Sterling Sharp. Back to Pat and John.
What a weapon Sterling Sharp is. What a player he is.
And that Brett Favre, when he gets hot, he's hot. He can get cold and be cold, though, too.
3rd and 6. Meggett goes in motion. And Brown back to throw. At time, Sherrard. Mike Sherrard. Touchdown, Giants.
He ran it right up into the stands. He started to run it to the house, ran it right up into the stairs.
49 yards from Brown to Sherrard.
Boy, there's a Christmas present.
I'll say you don't have to wrap that one.
It all started with good pass protection, too. Look at Sherrard. Hits this thing, catches this thing, and shows that he can still run. I mean, he just used his speed and ran right through everyone and said, I'm just going to take it right up there and give it to someone.
Former first-round draft choice by the Cowboys.
He wasn't going to hand that one or throw that one. He was just going to dish it off.
Daniel Iso for the extra point. Graham is the holder, and the Giants take the lead 7-0. 7-3, I beg your pardon.
Fox NFL Saturday is brought to you by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. By Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you. By Heineken, the #1 selling imported beer. Heineken, just being the best is enough. And by the IBM Corporation.
Let's watch this pass pattern. Here's Mike Sherrard here, and he's going to run a crossing pattern. The closest guy is a middle linebacker, Robert Jones. He catches the ball, runs right by him. But he starts out here. See, they have the 2 receivers on this one side after motion. There's Sherrard. See him go shallow across, catches the ball right there. Closest guy is Jones. Then he runs right through the rest of the defense.
Ball blew off the tee as Daniel Iso approached it.
Yeah, I said that Jumbo Elliott earlier had trouble with Charles Haley, and that was going to be a pretty good matchup all day. But on this one, he does pretty well. Here's Jumbo there against Charles Haley. And watch on that touchdown. See, he got him to the outside, and that time just ran him out there and took that right hand and just threw him right to the ground.
Good job.
And that gave Dave Brown time to throw it and kind of throw it sidearm, he did.
Daniel Iso got it all. 5 yards deep into the end zone.
Let's watch how Dave Brown throws it. This doesn't come right up over. And in fact, I think he's aiming this a little. See how it comes out sidearm? He's just looking. He just dipped his elbow and threw that thing right out the side door.
Watch Sherrard.
I think they closed his eyes at one point. That was when he felt that strip coming, he gripped that ball so hard as to not be stripped that so much power closed his eyes. Good block, Jumbo.
Aikman is still the quarterback as the Dallas Cowboys take over, and Blair Thomas gets the carry.
You know, Blair Thomas, of course, used to be with the Jets, and then he was with the Patriots, and Patriots cut him this year. Nate Newton was saying that he told him the other night, he said, you know, he said, we have a good offensive line. He said, we can block for you. He said, if you run, you can be a running back in this league. He said, if you don't run, he said, you're going to be on someone's special teams next year.
Yeah, practice squad.
And here's a guy who was the second player chosen in the draft.
They fumble the exchange, and the Giants have it. Michael Brooks made the recovery.
I tell you, I really feel that the Cowboys offensively haven't been in sync since they played the San Francisco 49ers. And you see this kind of thing here. You see the ball come up, and it didn't look like it got up to Troy's hand. It didn't look like it was sent all the way up to his hand. You see, you want to get it to the top of the hands, and maybe it was, but it just fell out of there. I mean, those things should be so automatic between Mark Stepnoski and Troy Aikman that never happened.
Wonder if that towel hanging down there had anything to do with it.
There was too many towels hanging down there, I think.
Brown gives to Hampton. And Hampton hammers down to about the 21. Stopped by Robert Jones.
Yeah, if you look at the Dallas offense, they had 10 turnovers in their 3 losses, 13 turnovers in their 12 wins, and that's one thing that Barry Switzer was saying. He said, we just have to protect the ball.
That's not something that just happens to Dallas. That happens to anybody who turns it over.
Yeah, but, you know, I think it's magnified because the Cowboys are 2-time defending world champions.
Without a doubt. Here's Dave Brown back to throw it. Maybe. Hit by Tolbert. Tony Tolbert around the corner.
He's lucky he didn't get more than hit by Tony Tolbert. I mean, Tolbert really had a shot on him. Tolbert came around Doug Rosenberg and took that loop. And Dave Brown is around for it. Here's Tony Tolbert here. Now he's gonna loop around this side. And Dave Brown, if you watch Dave Brown, he's going to be looking to his right. Then as he turns here comes Tolbert. And I don't know, he must have felt him because he did duck a little before Tolbert hit him.
Meggett is behind Brown this time. And the handoff is to Meggett. And Dave Meggett gets it down to about the 20.
Now there is a tough guy, Dave Meggett.
Boy,
you know, he's one of those guys that you look at him and he talks fast and he runs fast and he moves fast, and he's just a fun guy. I mean, there's a lot of life and a lot of spirit in him. And, you know, I mean, he weighs 195 pounds. He's only 5'7", but he is a powerful guy. Did you see how he finished that runoff? I mean, that pile went backwards.
And he wasn't able to practice during the week. He's got some ankle problems. One of them operated on already. Now, in this offseason, he has to have chips taken out of the other ankle. Galuiso from 38 yards. And he is good. And the Giants increased their lead to 10-3. After the field goal by Galuiso, the Giants lead Dallas 10-3. Santa's in the stands, but he didn't pull his beard all the way up.
Now there's Santa Claus. That other guy was the guy that was trying to dress like Santa Claus to get a break on something, but that wasn't Santa Claus. That other one was Santa Claus, and he's just taking a break before he goes to work tonight.
Oh, I thought somebody was trying to sell him something, and he was trying to get a break on the price.
I think he was.
That's
why he dressed like that, because they let you in, like they let you take the subway free if you're Santa Claus. But that guy wasn't really Santa Claus.
Somehow I thought so. so. Got the good leg today. This one is going to be returnable, however, as Kevin Williams starts from the 5. Taken down finally by Corey Raymond.
Look at this one here. This is, you wonder how they keep the footballs warm.
Yeah.
That's a football warmer.
How come they only got one in there?
Because that's probably the kicker. The punter probably has that to keep him warm, you know, so when he's going to warm up in the net.
I thought maybe he was going to hatch or something.
No, that's something a kicker would do. He would keep the ball that he's going to practice punting or kicking in. He would keep that in the ball warmer.
It's almost done. Aikman, screen pass out to Darrell Johnston. Out of bounds after a pickup of 8, perhaps. Michael Brooks.
Yep, the old Moose, he gets that ball, and wherever he goes, he gets that Moose chant. Of course, he's from New York State.
Yeah.
He went to Syracuse, so this is kind of a home state. I know they play in New Jersey and all that stuff, but I mean, this is kind of a home area for him. But still, the Giant players don't like it.
And they probably don't like the Moose. 2nd and 2.
Or any Cowboy.
Yeah. That's Harper in motion. The handoff is to Blair Thomas. Thomas picked his way and found a hole and got into Giant territory. Stopped by Brooks.
Blair Thomas is probably thinking, what a deal. This is, you know, you're a free agent, you're cut free, and you get picked up, and you get to come to the 2-time world champion Cowboys, and you get an offensive line like the Cowboys have, and Emmitt Smith isn't playing, so you get an opportunity to carry the ball, and pretty good deal.
Novacek on the move. Aikman retreats. Novacek to the 45. You know, that Larry Allen is playing extremely well. But that offensive line misses Eric Williams.
Yeah, Eric Williams was the best offensive lineman in all of football. And when he had his accident and was out for the season, I think Larry Allen, as a rookie, has come in and played very well.
He really has.
But I think when you take the best player in all of football in a group off your team, it's going to hurt your team. And I think Eric Williams' loss has hurt this team.
Blitz coming. Aikman gets rid of it. Michael Irvin gets the first down to about the Giant 27. Booty on the stop. Now, Michael Irvin has been hurting.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be out there. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I know that he says if Troy's going to throw it, I'm going to go. And you're going to see the blitz here, and he's going to throw it out to Michael Irvin. But he has a torn quadricep. A good block there by Darrell Johnson picking up that blitz. Troy Aikman got rid of the ball. But watch Michael Irvin. When he catches this thing, I mean, he just can't move. He just can't run like Michael Irvin, and he's a target out there.
He's a tough guy, but
maybe he's too tough.
Rest is going to get him well. That's Blair Thomas. Flag on the play. Blair Thomas running hard.
Well, Nate Newton said that's what he was going to tell him to do, is to run hard. Very
illegal use of hands to the face. Number 61 of the offense.
Penalty against Nate Newton.
Well, Nate was telling him to run hard, then he gets that penalty against him. But the penalty is, you're going to see Nate Newton. He's right here, right behind that, right in front of that motion guy. You see him here. He just takes that right hand, and you see the right hand go right up to the face mask.
Yep.
Of Eric Howard. That's what it was.
1st and 20.
Tell you what, it was a pretty good punch, though, by Nate. I mean, that right hand went up there, and that jolted Eric Howard's head back.
That's the first penalty of the game. This is rare these days. Here's Aikman. Pass caught by Michael Irvin again. Look how slowly and gingerly he gets up.
As you say, the only thing that's going to help that is rest. And you know, he just can't get it. I mean, maybe this bye week is going to get 1 week of rest. But the interesting thing is that he doesn't wear any thigh pads or knee pads. And You know, I guess he says that it's not a bruise
It's
type
a tear.
of thing. It's a tear, and a pad wouldn't help it anyway.
2nd and 12. Giants showing blitz. And they jump. Aikman goes through with it. Throws in the direction of Harper. Aikman is hit by Michael Strahan.
And this was the thing that Dan Reeves was saying he was worried about, as he says, is this count? Strahan's going to come from Aikman's left side and hit him just as he throws the ball. But Dan Reeves is saying that Aikman is the best in the game at drawing you off sides.
And they've constantly warned him and warned him. Maybe that's not just more than a warning.
And that's why Dan Reeves had his headset on.
Yeah.
Anytime you're going to yell, if you're a coach and you're wearing a headset, anytime you're going to yell at someone, you take your headset off so you don't yell into that microphone.
2nd and 7. Blair Thomas deep. Emmitt Smith not even active. Thomas to the 20. Stopped by Bailey.
But the thing that shows what a field general Troy Aikman is, and Bob Greasy used to do this, I used to think he was the master, is he does it after you get a penalty. In other words, Nate Newton got the penalty, 10-yard penalty. So Troy Aikman figures, I just lost 10 yards. I want to get some of it back. He gives the hard count. Boom, he gets 5 yards of that penalty right back.
Makes it 3rd and 3, and Kevin Williams split wide to the left. Harper is right. Kevin Williams in the backfield. Aikman has to take off with it at the last minute. Put his head down and gain some yards, but not enough for a first.
Yeah, and you see Eric Howard could have really finished him off there. In fact, he kind of does. Eric Howard's really playing a lot better this year, or at the end of this year. Watch number 74. He gets double teamed, gets pushed there. There's a little hole. Now watch him come across right there and finish Troy Aikman off. He kind of knocked him sideways.
Bonio from 37 to try to make it 10-6. Same distance as his first. But that one hit the upright and is no good. The first one shaved the upright and came in. That one didn't. 2. The Secret of the Ooze. Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Pat, you want to see why Santa Claus is Santa Claus? If you just look right here, here's Santa Claus right here, and he's signaling both hands touchdown. Or field goal good or whatever. I mean, like good. Goal is good. Things outside. That's why Santa, he's not an official. Santa, he just sits there and puts both hands
Everything
up.
is good.
He doesn't care. Yeah. On Christmas Eve, everything's good. That's right. Everyone's good. Everything's good. Shake hands. What the heck? Kick a field goal. It goes left. But that one in the middle, that's the real Santa. For any kids that are confused, the one in the middle was the real Santa, the one that said the field goals was good and it wasn't.
Right.
He doesn't care. He's going to take care of everyone.
Callaway in motion, Hampton with the ball. Outside the 30, about the 32, pickup of 4-5. Robert Jones made the stop. 6:41.
And the Giants are playing giant football. I mean, they, type of thing they do, get a turnover, play defense, get a running game going, hit a big play on a cross to a Mike Sherrard. Just all those things. They're not the best players, but they're a well-coached group that when they get playing their type of football can do well.
They just sort of stay close. When the game's over, they're ahead by 3 or 4. And they jump off sides. The Cowboy defense, I believe, although they're applauding right now. So maybe one of the Giant offensive linemen moved. Here's Rodney Peete loosening up over on the Dallas sideline. False start.
Number 72 of the offense.
Doug Riesenberg.
It's still 2nd down.
The Aflac trivia question this week: is the pylon down the goal line inbounds or is it out of bounds? The pylon. Wait with bated breath, and we'll have the answer in a moment. Second and 11. Chased by Leon Lett is Dave Brown. Lett and Maryland congratulate.
Yeah, Lett looked like Big Cat then. That's his nickname, Big Cat Leon Lett.
He's big.
Playing like one of the best defensive tackles in this game. And you're just going to see him right here. Left-handed stance. He starts on a stunt. See, Haley goes to the inside and Lett loops around him. That's called an ET. End first, tackle second. End goes under, tackle loops around. Haley being the end, Lett being the tackle.
In spite of how far Haley had to go, he was the second guy. He almost got there at the same time as Lett. Here's Brown rolling to his left. And he's going to take off. Step out of bounds, knocked out by Darren Smith. Right now, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat, Arizona coach Buddy Ryan will take points offensively any way he can get them, including a bank shot. A 22-yarder by Greg Davis. Cardinals finally on the board late in the second. Back to New York. Pat and John.
On fourth down, Horan back to punt, and Kevin Williams deep for Dallas. Trying to set up a return this time. Horan's punt chases Williams back to his own 16 where he bobbles. Now he's got it under control. And Williams is swarmed down at about the 16-yard line. 4:49 left to play in the first half, and it's Giants 10, Dallas 3. Back at Giants Stadium, it's 10-3. The Giants lead the Cowboys. Pat Summerall with John Madden. 4:49 left to play in the first half. The Giants have to win, and Green Bay has to lose for them to be in the playoffs. Rodney Peete has replaced Troy Aikman at quarterback for Dallas. Peete gives to Blair Thomas. Out to about the 20, well, about the 23, an 8-yard pickup. Is that pylon inbounds or is it out of bounds?
It's a pylon that marks the goal line right there.
Pylon is always out of bounds, always has been out of bounds, always will be out of bounds. So if you dive and get the pylon, it's no touchdown.
Well, that's what Ricky Waters in that game, he was arguing. He was telling the official, he called the official babe. He said, but babe, I hit the cone. I hit the cone.
Not a cone.
Cone's out of bounds.
Not a cone, and he's not a babe. Stacy Dillard made the stop on Thomas.
That's a guy who's playing real well for the Giants is Dillard. But you see the whole line here. The linemen take on those blocks, and then the linebackers have to come and fill the holes. Stacy Dillard, he went for the whole enchilada up there.
Yeah.
Luckily, they ducked on that one because Stacy Dillard almost had himself the top of the body.
Third down and about 3. Peete to throw it. Lofts it to Harper, who comes down with the ball. A flag on the play. It's going to be offensive interference, I'm sure. Harper.
Yeah, you never know the way they call interference, Pat. I mean, you'd think it would be offensive interference, but the way they call it, Michael Irvin's there arguing with the official, and he wasn't even the receiver.
Interference, number 80 of the offense. 10 yards, repeat third down.
You were right. The Giants complained about that all week. How Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper both push when the ball's in the air. You see Harper, yeah, he's pushing there with both hands. That's the old, you push the defensive back, Felipe Sparks there, and then you jump. But the way Harper can jump, I don't think he needs that much push.
No, he doesn't.
You know, any backup quarterback for the Cowboys, whether it be Rodney Peete now or Jason Garrett, remember on Thanksgiving?
Yep.
That becomes their favorite play. Just throw a jump ball to Alvin Harper.
3rd and 13. 3 wide receivers for Rodney Peete to work with. Pass is caught by Kevin Williams. And that's enough for a Cowboy first down. Less than 3 minutes left to play in the first half at Giants Stadium.
Rodney Peete zipped that in. Watch Nate Newton here. Now, this is what you call area blocking or zone blocking. See, he starts out left. He's looking. he's blocking here and then looking out there the whole time. So he's going to get help. Then he goes and he helps, and that's how you area block a stunt. And they picked that up perfectly.
He and Tuanay have been working together a long time.
And it's not easy to be a big old lineman. You know, they think they're just a bunch of big old guys sitting around there doing nothing.
Heat going deep. The pass is incomplete, intended for Harper. Behind him just a little bit. Thomas Randolph was back with him and had an interception. Harper knocked it out of his hand.
Yeah, there's a guy that I like is this Thomas Randolph, because he's going to be a corner. I mean, he's only a rookie. He's a young guy, but the thing that he can do is he can run. And because you can run, then you can put yourself in positions to knock the ball down and make interceptions. That time he put himself in perfect position for an interception.
If Harper hadn't gotten his hand in there, he would have had one. 2nd and 10.
That's the way these Cowboy receivers are taught. If you don't get it, don't let them get it.
Draw play. Darrell Johnson, flag down. They moved too early.
One thing about Rodney Peete, he's coming in and attacking.
Number 84. It's still 2nd down.
Novacek, the violator.
You know, Barry Switzer really didn't want Troy Aikman to play today, and I think Troy Aikman probably talked him into playing a little, and then he started getting beaten around there. You know, the last play he was in there was a sack. Michael Strahan sacked him. That was a time Eric Howard kind of finished him off. And
oh, you could tell last night when we were talking to Barry Switzer, he didn't want Aikman to play.
No,
he really didn't want to take a chance.
Because he says that, you know, that he would rather go healthy and get oiled up later. And in this game, in this stadium, I don't know that you're going to get in sync anyway.
Here's Rodney Peete. Gets it to Kevin Williams, and that's another Dallas first down, but there's a flag on the play.
And the thing that I have no idea is why Michael Irvin is still in there. I think they were smart in not even dressing Emmitt Smith, and I don't know that Michael Irvin should even be dressed.
Illegal motion. Number 85 of the offense.
Against Kevin Williams.
5 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
You get in a game, though, and you're competing. It doesn't make any difference if you have everything clinched. If you're a champion or you want to be a champion, you know, you compete. I mean, there's only one way to play this game.
Things start flowing a little faster and happening much more quickly, and you get well more quickly.
I think Ernie Zampese decided with Rodney Peete here, you know, he was a little conservative with Troy Aikman. I think he was trying to protect him. With Rodney Peete there, I think they're just going to air this thing out.
2 minutes left to play in the first half at Giants Stadium, and the Giants lead the Cowboys 10-3. Right now on Fox, 2 minutes to go in the first half at Giants Stadium, with the Giants leading Dallas 10-3. They have to win, and Green Bay has to lose for them to make the playoffs. Rodney Peete back to throw the screen pass to Darrell Johnston, played very well by Jarvis Williams.
You know, it's interesting. Yesterday, the Giants were all saying that they were going to guard against watching the scoreboard for the Green Bay-Tampa Bay game, and Dan Reeves was talking about it, and, you know, that he didn't want to do it. He just wanted to be concerned with the Cowboys. I don't see the score anywhere in this stadium of the Green Bay-Tampa Bay game. So there's no way that they were always all worried about guarding against and not looking and not watching, and the fans looking and watching and reacting. And I don't think anyone in this stadium has been given that opportunity thus far.
21-6. The Packers just scored again.
Maybe that's why.
I would imagine.
I'll tell you, even if the Giants finish 9-7, win this game, finish 9-7, and don't make the playoffs, that's still, when you've lost 7 in a row, that's still a heck of an accomplishment for this guy and his team.
Well, no team has ever lost 7 in a row in the course of the regular season and made the playoffs. But interestingly, Dan Reeves said that when training camp started, he was asked about what kind of team he had, and he said, I think we'll wind up 9-7. Here's Rodney Peete to Darrell Johnston to the 38. Not enough for the first. Jarvis Williams and Corey Raymond made the stop.
And the Giants take a timeout, which is smart, because they're going to get the ball and then they're going to have the wind, and they have plenty of time to get in field goal position, especially with a kicker like Daloiso. You know, I mean, you just need a couple first downs, and you can get another shot at a field goal here before halftime.
A reminder that next week we'll be there on Sunday. Half-hour pregame show before the wild card game. We don't know where yet, but John and I'll be there somewhere.
I tell you, this is the most fun part of this. I mean, I love this time. The end of the season, you know, the Christmas, the New Year's, the playoffs, the winners go on, the losers go home. The whole championship atmosphere is kind of what this whole thing is all about.
Yep.
Can't beat this.
John Jett back deep for Dallas. He'll punt. Meggett will handle it at the 24. Got some blockers. Knocked out of bounds by Dave Thomas and Dale Hellestray.
Yeah, that has to be something. When you are a punt returner like Dave Meggett, and he's a good one. I mean, he's one of the best in football, and you have to do it here in the Meadowlands. You are a real punt returner, because with this wind in this stadium, that ball does a lot of funny things from the time it leaves the toe until it gets to your hands. I should say now he'll do something. He'll look up at the ball, then he will look down at the coverage, and then up at the ball again. One of the few punt returners to do that. Most of them just look up at the ball, and watch the ball into their hand. He'll look at the ball, the coverage, and the ball.
And first and 10 Giants. That's Meggett. Giants have one timeout left. They won't use it yet. They'll hustle back. Clock still running. 1:15 left to play in the first half. 2nd and 8. Here's Brown. Pass is underthrown. Aaron Pierce, the intended target.
That was really underthrown. That didn't even reach his knees. That was right down at his toes. Aaron Pierce couldn't even reach down for that one.
Most of Brown's passes have been affected by the wind or his throw, except one.
Yeah, and that one that he threw, that was a sidearm pass. You know, that was that cross to Sherrard. But he says he learned from Phil Simms that you don't try and push it through the wind. You try and smooth it through the wind. He looks like he's trying to smooth some of these too much.
Brown to throw, and that's a good throw to Arthur Marshall. And they'll move the sticks with that one. And stop the clock also with 1:03.
Here now he has good pass protection here, because they not only pass protect and give him time, but they form a pocket. You see the pocket here? And then he can step up and throw the ball. You know, we talk about all the things that Dave Meggett does. I mean, he's a good punt returner, kick returner, receiver, runner, but he's also turned into a good pass protector.
He's back in the spread with Dave Brown. Stays the block. Brown going deep. Incomplete. Kevin Smith back there with Chris Callaway.
I tell you, that pump didn't work at all. Chris Callaway was going. He was double teamed all the way. And old Dave Brown tried to look the other way and pump it and then throw it to the right.
Smoothed it out there pretty well.
Yeah, he smoothed it out and the pump and all. I mean, that's something that looks good in practice, but it didn't have any effect whatsoever on the Cowboys secondary. This is where Charles Haley is going to just pin his ears back. This down and the next down.
Brown steps up in the pocket, hit and underthrows Chris Callaway. Hit just as he let it go by Chad Hennings.
That's the thing, you know, Haley comes and they ride him out. Jumbo Elliott did a good job of riding out Charles Haley, but in doing so, that made Dave Brown step up into the rush. You watch Haley here, you're going to see him here. Now Jumbo is going to do a good blind. In fact, he does a good job of darn near choking him. But in running him around, that made Dave Brown step up right into Chad Hennings.
3rd and 10. Brown, this is all planned. His move to the right. The throw is out of bounds, complete to Sherrard, but he's out of bounds.
You know what they had back here? Remember last week against the Eagles?
Yeah.
He rolled and threw back. He had it again. If he would have looked back here, he had Aaron Pierce back here all by himself.
Did it once to Pierce, once to Meggett that really set up the field goal that won the game.
I know it. And you're going to see it. It'll be back away from the roll back here if we just let the roll go. He rolls out here to the right. And then if you just come out here, if we just stop her right now, here he is right there.
Moran to punt to Kevin Williams. Flag on the play. Flag way back across midfield. Hey, Brown 2 plays ago hurt his hand. Jerry Austin is the referee.
Into the kicker, number 47. Penalty is declined. First down, Dallas.
Penalty is declined. Why would they decline it?
Because it was a 5-yard penalty.
Oh, I see.
And, yeah, and it wouldn't have changed anything, and they just wanted to keep him down there because they got it inside the 5 yards. See, it used to be there would be an automatic first down, or anytime you'd have roughing the kicker. Now the penalty has to be the length of the kick, and since they got it down to the 5-yard line, they said, well, let him just stay down there.
Dallas has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. That was running into the kicker instead of roughing the kicker,
which was a 5-yard
right.
penalty, and they were 4th and 10.
Rodney Peete will just let it run out. Coming up on the Dockers halftime, James and Terry will have all today's scores and highlights from around the league. Plus, we'll look at the year's most spectacular plays with a final edition of Choice Cuts. That's all coming up next on the Dockers halftime. That's the end of the first half with the score, the Giants 10, the Cowboys 3. Stay tuned for the Dockers halftime as Fox NFL Saturday will continue after this message and a word from your local Fox station. It is brought to you by MCI, proof positive. And no doubt about what the highlight was. Sherrard is number 88, Mike Sherrard, the ex-Cowboy, now the Giants' prime wide receiver.
And once Dave Brown sees that, he's going to smooth it in there to him sidearm. And Mike Sherrard showed here that he can still run. I mean, he ran right through everyone and then said, it's Christmas Eve. I want to go give a Christmas present to someone.
Early. And he's got food and a football. How good can it get?
Well, yeah, and he's not giving it up either. You see, he has that tucked under his left arm the way you're supposed to tuck it in there.
The food?
No one's going to know. No, that's in the right arm.
The right arm, yeah.
He cares more about that football than he does about the food. But if the guy did fumble it, it wouldn't be an MCI highlight.
That's very true.
But Sherrard took off. And I mean, once he got that cross and got going upfield, he took off like a shot.
Bonio to kick off.
Yeah, the funny thing about that play, that was for 49 yards. And the Giants' other 23 plays, they only had 45 yards.
Bonio kick. Meggett will gather it in at about the 8. Dave Meggett. He hit and knocked backward by Dave Thomas, and a flag on the play.
That's the way you're supposed to do it. You have to get down there, pass the blocker, square up, and make a tackle. And when you can hit a guy like Dave Meggett that squarely, you're a good tackler.
Yep. See what you hit is the sign that's posted in the locker room, and I don't think you can do that with your eyes shut, can you?
No, and tackling is always tough, any tackling, and the toughest is open field tackling. And of the open field tackling, I think, kick return tackling is the toughest.
Terry Austin, the referee. He's been sort of quiet.
Yeah, it's nice.
2 fouls after the change of possession. Illegal use of hands. Number 41 of the kicking team. We have holding, number 31 of the receiving team. Since both fouls occurred after the kick and during the run back, the fouls will be offset at the spot of the dead ball. 1st and 10, New York.
See, maybe that's why Dave Thomas got in such good position as he was holding.
Well, hit the kicker in the back of the head with the flag. Again, look out.
But he throws it twice. So the thing is, I mean, that was a lot of talk. But when you have to throw a double flag deserves a lot of talk.
And nothing happened. 1st and 10 Giants at their own 29. Hampton, the ball carrier. Cut down by Robert Jones.
Yeah, and that's the Cowboy defense right there. You know, as you let those linemen penetrate, you let the linemen stunt, they take the gaps, they do all that stuff. Then the linebackers with speed have to go up and down the line of scrimmage. You see penetration by the linemen, and then the linebackers just skating right down the line of scrimmage, and then that speed that Robert Jones has to turn it on at the end to make the tackle.
And a good tackle it was. 2nd and 10. Hampton and Rashid behind Brown. And Hampton gets the carry. Hampton is hit at about the 30. He might have picked up 2. Leon Lett and Dixon Edwards on the stop.
Yeah, he's the big guy in that defensive line is Leon Lett. You know, Russell Maryland's not a big guy, and we said, you know, Tony Tolbert's not a big guy at one end. Haley's not a big guy at the other end, but the guy that is the big guy,
the big
6'6", 290 pounds, is Leon Lett.
And Chad Hennings, who's in there now, is a good size.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Neither one of them really play big and strong. I think because they're tall and they stand up a little.
But they both can run. Brown out to Hampton. Flag on the play. Well, we said we hadn't heard much from the referees and the officials. Now we're hearing a lot.
Do you see Chris Callaway make that block?
Yeah.
You know, of all the wide receivers in football, Chris Callaway could be the best blocker.
Jerry Rice ranks up there pretty well.
And John Taylor for years was. But Chris Callaway, they bring him in and he blocks defensive ends and stuff. He picked off someone on that play.
Yeah, he's about the only wide receiver we talked to any coach. And Dan Reeves said we miss not his receiving, but his blocking.
And this is why right there. What? See, he just picks him right off. He just throws his whole body and goes airborne. You don't find many wide receivers that don't care. He doesn't care.
3rd and 17. Dave Brown deep. Flag on the play. I think Jumbo Elliott tackled Charles Haley. Sherrard caught the pass out of bounds. Not enough for first.
Yeah, and that's the second holding penalty in a row against the Giants on that block that Callaway made. There was also a holding penalty.
Number 76 of the offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
And you were right, it's Jumbo Elliott. As Jumbo Elliott is right here. Here's Charles Haley. I think Jumbo's been holding him quite a bit today. You know, he gets that hand up there. You see that left arm around the neck? He starts it there, and then he just hooked him and kept spinning him around. But he's been getting that left arm up around Haley's neck all day when Haley takes that outside rush.
3rd and 28. There's no play for this. Brown gets to make it. Hennings and Leon Lett smother it.
That's like wearing black shoes and brown socks. They're the give-ups. You say there's no play for it, and the draw is kind of a play to run just before you have to punt.
Mike Horan will punt out of the end zone. Kevin Williams standing close to midfield. Black shoes and brown socks is a give up.
Yeah. When you don't care anymore, you just give up. You don't worry about how you look. You don't care.
How about the reverse?
That's also a give up. That's a reverse give up.
Kevin Williams looking for a hole and found one. Got to beat Horan. Horan slowed him down enough. So the help got there, and Williams is out of bounds at the 10.
I was was a play by Horan because Williams has the speed, and if Horan doesn't slow him up, this is a touchdown. Watch, you have a wall. Now he caught the ball on the right, and his wall, his return was to the left. So he got it on the right, and he had to run his return left. He takes it all the way to the left. The Giants got caught inside that wall. And as you said, Mike Horan makes a good play here by just making him do that. When Williams had to do that, then Corey Whitmer could come in behind him. But that was a beautiful wall that the Cowboy return set up.
1st and 10, Dallas. That's Blair Thomas. Thomas close to 6, but didn't quite make it. At the 1, it'll be 1st and goal from there as Thomas Randolph took him down. A cutback that would make you think of Emmitt Smith. Almost.
Oh no, yeah, I don't think so. Here's Blair Thomas here, and you're going to see his cutback. He starts to the left, then he cuts it back to the right. A missed tackle right there, and then he just keeps going to the right because he saw once he cut back to the right, got by that missed tackle, he saw the end zone.
1st and goal at the 1. It's Thomas. Touchdown, Dallas.
The most excited guy out there is big Larry Allen, the rookie right tackle. If you're an offensive lineman and you get down in the goal line, you want them to run behind you. And when they do run behind you, you better make your block. And when you do that, then you can get excited like the running backs.
Blair Thomas made sure he had the ball. His first touchdown as a Cowboy. Bonio for the extra point to tie it. Novacek holding. We have a tie, 10-10. 11:01 left in the 3rd.
Fox NFL Saturday is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. By Pringles, so fresh, once you pop, you can't stop. By Red Dog, bold yet smooth and usually easy to drink. You are your own dog. And by Taco Bell, tacos, burritos, and nachos. Cross the border.
As I was saying, when you get down in the goal line, you're a big old tackle. You want him to run behind you. And then when you do, you want to get your guy blocked. Watch Larry Allen here. He not only blocks his guy, he buries his guy. He gets him going backwards and just puts him right over. That is a block on the goal line.
That is a smother on the goal line.
That's why Larry Allen was so excited. He was jumping up and down, and he was more excited than Blair Thomas.
Bonio's kickoff is short. Handled by Arthur Marshall. Marshall from behind by Clayton Holmes. Larry Allen also can run as well as block.
This was a heck of a play on Monday night on this interception. Watch number 73 here. I mean, he runs when he comes shooting out of here. He looks like a sprinter here. And when you take a guy who weighs 320 pounds and he can run that fast, to me, and then lay out like
he did, yep.
That is an amazing feat.
Aikman said he had him in his sights.
Aikman wasn't going to do anything except push him out of bounds. But when you can run like that and then block like that in the goal line, you're going to be a good player in this league.
Pass is deflected and picked off by the Cowboys. No, they say no. Woodson came up with it.
Look at Woodson. The way he's standing there, I think he knows that he didn't get it. If he thought that he would have got it, in fact, he's kind of even shaking his head. If he thought that that ball hadn't hit the ground, he would be one upset number 28.
I really didn't think it hit the ground.
Well, yeah, but Woodson must think so because he's not even arguing.
Well, let's see what we've got.
I mean, if you'd be indignant if this ball didn't hit the ground.
It hit the ground.
Yeah, but just bounced right into him.
So no reason to be indignant. Pass complete from Brown to Callaway. Devin Smith on the coverage. Good pat on the head from Callaway. First down, Giants. 10-10 score.
Usually you'll find when indignance doesn't follow a call, the official's right. They're having a hard time with that wind down there in the sideline. They're having a hard time keeping their paperwork together. That's something. The linemen have come a long way, though, haven't they, when they sit and
All those pictures.
look at pictures and stuff.
That's Pierce on the move. Brown has a man wide open as Callaway, as the Cowboy backs ran into each other. The linebacker Dixon Edwards ran into Larry Brown, and Callaway came open.
Yeah, Larry Brown looked like he, for a while there, had pretty good position.
Yeah.
And then he just got knocked out of there. Now, here's where it has to start. They know that they have to get Charles Haley blocked. So they're keeping Howard Cross in there on him. And then that time they brought Lance Smith, the off guard, across to double him.
1st and 10, Giants. Handoff is to Rodney Hampton. And hard running by Hampton gets inside the Dallas 40s. Tripped up finally by James Washington.
And that's the other thing you want to do when you get a pass rusher is going up the field. See, like Charles Haley goes up the field. Then if you can pin here, you get this hole that way. You see, you create a hole sideways too. You see, they pin let there. Haley goes up the field, and that's the hole that Rodney Hampton runs in.
2nd down and 4. 9 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter. 10-10 tie. Brown wheels it outside to Rashid. Not quite a 1st down. Dixon Edwards pushed him out of bounds.
I think that Brown is going to be one of these guys that has a little streak in him. You know, he's going to be a streak passer because he looks like that, you know, he can get the confidence within a game and also lose confidence within a game. And he looks like now he's getting a feel, and that's kind of bringing a streak with him.
3rd and 1. From the Dallas 35. Hampton deep. He gets the try. 1st down, Giants. Jim Jeffcoat, the veteran who's been there so long, is going to play some more.
There's a guy who's a heck of a coach. You know, I think
Heck of a guy.
I think, you know, when you talk about coaches you're impressed with in this league, I'm really impressed with most of them, but I think you put guys like Don Shula and Dan Reeves, Bill Parcells, you know, right at the top of that list.
1st and 10, Giants. Brown again gets to Hampton. Hampton again found a little room and got it to the 30. Stopped by Chad Hennings.
You know, one thing about these Cowboy uniforms, and you wonder how they can sweat so much in their pants on a day when it's so cold. I mean,
Well, the ground's wet.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't be wet back there. I mean, you don't want to be knocked into the ground back there. I would hope that it's either or you sit on a wet bench.
Brown goes down by Jeffcoat. He's amazing. Jeffcoat. He just keeps coming.
Well, I think he can do that because they use Jeffcoat well. They don't play him all the time, and they try and give him about 25 plays a game. And you see in those 25 plays, that was just a power rush there. He lined up over there on the right side, and he just powered right through everything.
Now he gets a rest.
Yeah. And he always plays well, too, here. He's a local guy from New Jersey.
3rd down. They need the full 10. Brown dumps it to Meggett. Meggett is taken down by Darren Smith.
Yeah, that was kind of smoothing it into the wind.
Yep.
I guess is what Dave Brown did with that pass.
Pushing it into the wind.
Yeah, that looked like it was between a handoff and a pass. Call it a hass. Now watch here, Jumbo Elliott against Charles Haley. Again, he's getting that left arm up around his neck. He gets a left hand to the face, the arm around the neck. And old Jumbo's out there fighting for his life. Whatever it takes, he's going to get a block.
4th and 9 and a quick kick by Brown. 4th and 9. And it worked. They down it at about the 8. It was a bad looking thing.
Well, I think they have a word for it. I think they call it pooch.
That was worse than a pooch, I think.
Well, it's on the 8.
That was more like a pinch.
Pinch to pooch. Here was 4th down. The Giants were on the 31-yard line. Now watch, Dave Brown looks like he's in shotgun. Gives a motion there like the start motion. Backs up and gets in the old quick kick position.
Rodney Peete swings it outside to Blair Thomas, and he's taken down right there by Felipe Sparks.
I mentioned this last week, too, with Felipe Sparks, that one thing the Giant corners, because they play so much of that cover 2, where the corner gets up and has to force and support, the Giant corners are really good open field tacklers. I mean, they come up and they've all, I mean, Mark Collins, Felipe Sparks, they're all good at coming up and making tackles in the open field at or around the line of scrimmage.
Blair Thomas way back deep in the end zone. He gets the carry. Gets out to about the 9. Jesse Armstead. Stacy Dillard made the stop.
Remember last week against the Eagles, the Giants were in this same area on the field, and they knew that they needed a big defensive play.
And they got one.
And I think to help them score, this is the type of thinking they have to have now. Get a turnover, make something happen, get the ball back, stop them here, and try and get the ball back.
4:50 now, less than that left in the 3rd quarter. 10-10 the score. And Peete back to throw it. Maybe. Ball is in the end zone. Came loose for Peete. Could be touchdown. Could be out of the end zone. Safety is safety. Well, there's your big play.
That was a big play.
By the defense, out of bounds. Safety. It'll be a free kick at the 20.
Right, they know that this is a time, if you're going to make a big defensive play, make it in this situation. They come on a blitz. You see Jesse Armstead starts to the outside, then he comes right up the middle. And he hits Rodney Peete just as he starts to throw the ball. The ball comes out. If they recover it there, it's 7 points. If they don't, it's 2 points and a safety.
It's 2.
Hurry into.
Bonio will kick it off from the 20. A free kick after a safety. The Giants lead the Cowboys 12-10. Now the official came over and said you have to have somebody hold it. They can't use a tee. That's the key thing here. The Cowboys can't use a tee.
And they usually have the punter punt a free kick, which they're going to do now.
Now they're. When they found out they couldn't use the tee.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they put their kicker in anyway. I mean, I haven't seen a kicker kick a free kick in a long time. It's usually the punter.
Usually, and it is now.
Yeah, it's the punter and your kickoff coverage team. And the restraining line is the 20-yard line.
And it's Jet. And it's not a very good kick. It's handled by Marshall. And Arthur Marshall is down at the 45-yard line. Let's go back and look at the safety again. Rodney Peete is hit by Armstead.
Yeah, and Armstead comes on a stunt. Now, this is very close to a touchdown. Because if the Giants recover the ball before it hits this back line or end line, it's a touchdown. If they don't, it's a safety. Now, it looked like Keith Hamilton right there had the ball, had possession of it before it got to or hit the end line.
He was sliding. It happened so quickly. I don't know.
Now, we're talking about, real inches down there and real timing.
Rodney Hampton stopped for about a yard loss by Tolbert and Jones. The officials are telling us now that Hamilton did not have possession before the ball went out of the end zone. That makes it safety.
Yeah, before the ball or his own body hit that line. But that was awfully close. But the Giants came up. Their defense again, the second week in a row, came up in that same position about the same time in the game when they needed a big play.
Well, this is their kind of game, really. Their average margin of victory in the 8 wins has been 4.3 points. Here's Brown. Flag on the play. It's Sherrard. Just a matter of who pushed whom. Kevin Smith, the defender.
Usually you don't find that much pushing on the offensive guys on an out. It's usually on the up when they do it.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 26. That penalty is declined. First down.
Kevin Smith, the cover man. The penalty was against him.
Yeah, and usually if a patterner is in or an out or a hook, down here is where you go. Here's Kevin Smith right here, and Sherrard is going to run an out. And usually when you get the penalty down there, it's against the defensive guy. You see that? It was just that left hand. He just jabbed that left hand up to the face. But I think that also threw him off his coverage.
I think it did. Knocked him backward. Here's Dave Brown back to throw it. And he's got some room now. Slides underneath Robert Jones. Right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
Take back one of the few bright spots all season long for Tampa Bay, the play of Craig Erickson here rolling right, throwing on the run, a strike to Charles Wilson. Tampa Bay missed the two-point conversion, trailing by 16 to Green Bay. Back to New York, Pat Summerall and John Madden.
2nd and 1 here for the Giants. There's Brown sliding. Complaining that he was hit by Robert Jones. Rodney Hampton is the deep back now as they go for the first down. And nudges it far enough to get a first down. Chad Hennings stacked things up in the middle, but the Giants moved the sticks.
And this is giant kind of football that we're talking about here, where you have the elements, you have the weather, you have the defense not only making big plays for you, but scoring for you. Now you have your special teams coming up and making a big play. That, all those ingredients go in to making wins.
1st and 10, Giants at the Cowboys 28. Somebody jumped. Brown handed the ball off.
I don't know. Chan Hennings lumbered.
Yep.
I don't know if that was jumped or not, but he just, I think if you start on a jump and keep on going, it's a lumber.
Especially if you're 6'6" and 290.
And used to be a pilot.
Encroachment, number 95 of the defense.
That was more than an encroach.
It's still first down.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a big old...
That was a lumber, like you said.
Yeah, big old lumber job. That was a... Here it is right here. This is an industrial strength encroach. When you just go like that, you just keep on going. How could a guy that big, though, as Chad used to fly airplanes?
Well, he said before he ate himself out of the cockpit and just kept growing. Reverse to Callaway. Callaway down to the 20. Inside the 20 to about the 18.
Dan Reeves is pulling out his tricks now. He always has them in a Dan Reeves offensive game plan. You're always going to have reverses, maybe reverse passes, run passes, flea flickers. They're in every game. And then we saw the other one today for the first time, the old quarterback shifting out of shotgun into quick kick and pooching a punch.
2nd and 2.
Punching a pooch, whatever the heck it is.
Whatever, it worked. Brown gets to Hampton again. He gets enough for another Giant first down at the Dallas 15. Robert Jones on the bottom of the pile with Dixon Edwards.
You talk about that poocho and how it did work.
Yeah.
They were on the 31-yard line. Dave Brown pooched the ball down to the 8-yard line. That was a play that gave the Cowboys that poor field position. Then their defense went in, made a couple of big plays along with the sack and the recovery fumble for the safety. So it all started with the pooch.
Somehow that doesn't have a very good ring to it.
Started to be something stronger.
That was Hampton with the carry. Stopped by Robert Jones again. It's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter very shortly. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Giants 12, the Cowboys 10. And Fox NFL Saturday will continue after these messages from your local Fox station. Back at Giants Stadium, Pat Summerall with John Madden. As we begin the 4th quarter, there's Emmitt Smith, inactive today on the inactive list. So there would be no temptation for him to play, from him or the coaching staff.
You know, the Cowboys just did an interesting thing. I think it's because Dave Meggett's in there. They just put in Kenny Gant as a 5th defensive back, number 29. We see him right here, and he's in there instead of a linebacker because Dave Meggett's in there.
And Meggett gets the carry. Meggett gets down inside the 10. Gant made the tackle on Meggett.
You know, that's where the chess match is. I mean, it's not that they want to play him nickel, but if Meggett's going to be in there for the running back, then they figure that they can put Gant in for a linebacker. And as long as Meggett stays in down here, I would think Kenny Gant will stay in down here, and he's going to be man-to-man on Meggett, whatever Meggett does.
3rd down and 4. Meggett's still in. So is Gant. Brown throws it out, intended for Meggett. That's a lateral, and it went out of bounds. That's a lateral. And that should be moved back to where it went out of bounds, and it is.
Like you say, you always have the danger on this swing pass. To be a forward pass, it would have to be in front of the line. It's behind the line, so you're right, it's a lateral. I think Meggett knew it was a lateral.
I'm sure he
because
did.
he took his right hand, and he just knocks the ball out of bounds. You see, because now the lateral, of course, can be recovered. An incomplete pass can't. Meggett knew that ball could be recovered. He also knew Woodson was right there.
Daniel Iso to try for the field goal from 30 yards away. Plenty of distance and plenty of accuracy to go with it. And so the Giants now have a 5-point lead, 15-10. That is a nice looking tree. And some big tree ornaments. There's some big human beings.
Some big tree ornaments.
Yeah. Daniel Iso will kick it off. It's 15-10. The Giants over the Cowboys. Pat Summerall with John Madden at Giant Stadium. Kevin Williams back deep. Daniel Iso will kick it off. Kenneth Gant's back with Williams.
Do kickers like to have a guy hold it for him? I noticed that Daloiso is at it. I think he's been trying to do it without a holder. He got the T on backwards, doesn't he? I mean, doesn't the T usually go the other way?
That's a sign of a kicker, I guess.
No, you don't do it. I mean, usually those two things go the other way, don't they?
Yes, yes.
This must be some kind of trick. He got a holder and the T on backwards.
I don't know. Whatever it is.
It works.
It's a long kick.
What was that?
I don't know. Only a kicker could think of something like that. 15-10 Giants. Season's greetings, and why would you put the ball on the tee backwards?
I don't know. You know, if you look at the tee here, Pat, you see here's the tee. Here's the thing right there that even shows an arrow that shows that you're supposed to put the ball going that way. So you got the tee and you got the two prongs that are supposed to go in the back, and you got an arrow showing you which way to kick, and then you do just the opposite of that.
Oh, I thought the arrow was for wind direction.
The arrow was telling you which way to kick the ball.
Well, whatever. He's got 4 kickoffs and 3 touchbacks. Blair Thomas straight ahead. Right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat, Falcons not making it easy on Arizona after a 41-yard pass to Darrell Spencer. It set up this 22-yard boot by Norm Johnson. Falcons lead it by 7 late in the third. Back to Pat and John.
2nd down and about 6 for Dallas. Rodney Peete, the quarterback. Aikman started. Peete rolls right. Has some time. Fires to Novacek. Novacek out of bounds at about the 42-yard line for Dallas, and a Cowboy first down and a flag on the play.
I think they were trying to roll out and throw a deep one to Alvin Harper, but Sleepy Sparks had good coverage.
Against the Cowboys, excuse me, John.
Ineligible receiver downfield, number 60. 5 yards.
Derek Kennard is
Second down.
downfield.
How can a 350-pound guard think that he's going to go downfield anyway in a pass? Maybe that was just part of him that got downfield.
Maybe so.
Derek Kennard, I think, is weighing over 350 pounds now. I mean, here he is. Here's Derek Kennard. Now, there's no way that he would intentionally go downfield. You see, he missed a block, and then he just got spun around. Now he's flopping there in space and wandering around, and they call that illegal
Now
receiver downfield?
They're looking for something.
That's just a guy that shot air.
Pete throws it out to Blair Thomas, and Thomas gets up to about the 24, stopped by Stacy Dillard.
I mean, that's probably the worst penalty for missing a block. I mean, Derek Kennard goes to hit a guy and he completely misses him. And now he weighs 350 pounds, so that stuff just keeps going.
Yeah.
When you miss a guy, the follow through just keeps you going, so he gets a little downfield. And how can you look at him from the front or the back and call him an ineligible receiver?
Well, you're not going to lose sight of him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
3rd and 6. Here's Rodney Peete back again to throw. Gets it outside Novacek. Novacek shakes away from one tackler and gets outside the 35 and makes a first down. Sparks and Booty made the stop on Novacek. He was hurting around the middle of the season with a pulled stomach muscle.
And I think he'll probably be hurting with that all season. You know, you just
Those things
that
take a
won't
long
get better
time.
until the off season. But you know, when you catch a ball in the middle the way Jay Novacek did, how much action there is, guys stripping and flopping and throwing and swinging the ball.
Pitch is back to Thomas. The Giants saw it coming. Michael Brooks and Stacy Dillard smelled it out.
Brooks plays this thing well. He doesn't make the tackle, but he gets upfield and then forms a wall here and makes it cut back to the inside. Watch 94, Michael Brooks. He comes outside. Now he gets upfield right there and forces stuff back inside. You see, he doesn't let him get outside.
Yep.
Thomas has to stop to cut back, and then boom, a whole bunch of blue jerseys jump on him.
Brooks saw it coming. 2nd down. 13. Blitz coming. Pete gets rid of it. Over the head of Harper, and a flag on the play. Eric Howard holding his hands.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 74. A shot to the head.
What did I
15
do?
yards. First down.
A shot to the head, the officials say.
You know, again, he's just trying to block the ball, and then he goes up, and maybe it was that right at the end there. I mean, where he gave him a little shot right there with the right hand at the end. Here he should be okay. That may be even okay, but it was when he took that right and gave that little flick at his head. Here I think that's okay. Right there he gave him a little flick with that right hand.
Yeah, but that's trying not to hit him. He could have really unloaded on him.
Yeah, and earlier in the game, Eric Howard could have really unloaded on Troy Aikman.
And he just
didn't.
pushed him backward. That and the Derek Kennard being downfield, you're looking to call something. Handoff is to Darryl Johnston. And the Moose gets about 5. They almost messed up the handoff between him and Pete.
You got that action in there with, you know, Nate Newton going against Eric Howard and Kennard, Stepnoski, and then they figure, what the heck, let's get Darryl Johnston into the mix of that thing and give the old Moose a trap up in there.
Another big one.
Calm some stuff down in that middle.
2nd and 5. That's there, Blair Thomas. No gain. Stopped by Eric Howard. And right now, let's return you to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
And as you well know, the Giants need Green Bay to lose in order to make it in. Not happening right now. Chris Jackie booting home a 19-yarder. The Packers have expanded their lead 34-12 over Tampa Bay late in the 3rd. Back to New York, Pat Summerall and John Madden.
And back here at Giants Stadium, it's 3rd and 6, Dallas, with the Giants leading the Cowboys by 5, 15-10. Novacek was the man in motion. No flags so far. Novacek sees it go through his hand. Incomplete. Jesse Armstead off with the helmet in a hurry.
I don't know why he has to take his helmet off in a hurry, but he's sure been playing pretty well for the Giants lately. Jesse Armstead, not only on the third down and the coverage, but the kickoff and making plays and doing everything. I mean, I like the way he played. I don't like this fact that you have to take your helmet off. I mean, it's not that big a deal, really.
Well, you don't have to.
No. I mean, just keep your helmet on, keep it strapped up, be a football player, but he is playing pretty well.
Kick sails off the side of Jeff's foot, but takes a Cowboy bounce where it's down by Dixon Edwards. Darren Smith, beg your pardon. 15-10 Giants. Pat Summerall with John Madden, and we hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I was thinking about that kicking tee and D'Aloiso kicking it back. I wonder if, like, Santa Claus brings kicking tees to kids. I wonder if they'll be confused. They don't know. Like, do you follow the arrow or go against the arrow?
I don't know. Santa's here. We can ask him. He's got some work to do. He better start leaving.
He better get the heck out of here, yeah. Get on that sleigh and get going.
Get
Kids
some barbecue in the parking lot and take off. Here's Brown to Hampton. Hampton picks up about 3. Stopped by the middle of the Dallas defense. Robert Jones and Darren Smith. Now that's a cold person.
Cowboys don't like this kind of weather. They came out here yesterday. Remember, we were here and they were going to have a walkthrough, and the whole team walked out on the field, and it was too cold, and Barry Switzer said, okay, take it as bus, and they all just walked off. They didn't do anything.
They were not dressed for it.
They didn't like that cold weather.
Here's Brown. Looks left. Throws right. Gets it to Howard Cross, who gets the first down. Struggling in the arms of Dixon Edwards. Brown knocked down by Tony Tolbert.
Yeah, Tony Tolbert has him. You watch Brown. He's looking to the left. There's nothing there. He comes back to the right. There's nothing there. Tolbert has him there, and he's just grabbing. Brown is a big, strong guy.
Oh, yeah.
When he had Tolbert there, Jeff Coat flying at him, and he still got rid of that one.
He said he became a recluse when they were in the middle of that 7-game losing streak, and now he can go to the Garden. He can do a lot of things. That's Rashid.
Yeah, he stopped going to Nick games, and 7-game losing streak is tough.
Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, closest to you.
Yep, Emmitt Smith didn't even dress. Michael Irvin did dress and played some while Troy Aikman was in there. Like Michael Irvin says, if Troy Aikman goes, I go. And
he says, if Troy's going to throw, I'm going to go.
Troy threw a little and Michael went a little.
Hampton didn't get the first, didn't get much at all. Leon Lett and Robert Jones.
Dave Brown was born a natural left-hander, and he said, because he has trouble throwing a spiral. I mean, he's not a picture-perfect passer, and he says he thinks that's a problem, that he should have been a left-hander, and his dad made him a right-hander. He eats left-handed. Right. He writes left-handed.
Plays golf right-handed.
Yep. Brushes his teeth left-handed.
Well, he does either way with brushing teeth.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
But he throws the ball. He said he should have been a left-hander. He thinks he'd be a smoother left-hander.
Flag on the play. The Cowboys jumped offside. Showed blitz. Pass intended for Arthur Marshall. I think it was Gant who was in the neutral zone too quickly. Encroached.
Offsides.
Offside. Play no offside.
5 yards. First down.
There's going to be right here, just being offsides. You see, I think he lined up offsides. Maybe they called it, or he encroached. And then it could have been 2. I mean, he could have been offsides, lined up.
And encroached.
And then encroached after he lined up offside.
All that on Christmas Eve.
You got to look at the ball when you're that far out.
Hampton runs into the quarterback, but still gets a couple of yards. Darren Smith made the stop on Rodney Hampton.
Whose gear do you think that is? I'll guarantee you it has to be the kickers, because here's the T, isn't it? Isn't that the T?
It didn't look like that before. Yeah,
yeah.
There's
the arrow.
Yeah,
see, the arrow says kick it this way. He kicked it the other way. He has his hat back there.
And no scratch marks on it.
And yeah. I mean, it hasn't hit anyone. And then an extra pair of pants or something. And it's all behind the bench. It's not on the bench.
Where is he?
Well, I don't know. You just put your gear behind the bench.
Sherrard in motion. Back to throw is Brown. Good time. Somehow caught by Sherrard.
Kind of a waste of time, though. I think it was one of those passes that was caught for none.
Again, Robert Jones made the stop.
You say, how deep was that pass? None.
I don't know any patterns in the book.
Yeah, it's
designed for none.
Well, they did it last week. They did the same thing. Sherrard runs that shallow cross, and he runs it so shallow, I don't think they made a yard.
They might have lost with ground.
That was a heck of a catch for none, though. I mean, to throw up a 0 on a catch like that.
3rd and 8. Brown has time. Make it. He'll get the first down for you. And does at the Cowboy 45. Bill Bates tripped him up.
That's what Dave Maggott's in there for. And when you get in this situation, he's in the backfield. Sometimes they'll usually blitz to make him stay in there. And they're going to blitz or start the blitz. He starts on a double. Then he comes off. And he comes off. And then when he gets that ball in the open field, he's a tough guy to tackle.
He's so quick.
Although, watch this play right here at the end. Woo.
He disappeared.
I mean, they're going after him.
Hampton is the deep back, and Hampton gets the carry. And Hampton gets to the Cowboy 40. Larry Brown and Robert Jones again made the stop.
These are the old Giants. Remember when Bill Parcells was here? You know, get that lead, play the wind, play defense, do all those things, and then just grind it out with your running game. Have Magott come in if you need a 3rd down, dump it off to him, let him get a 1st down for you.
In December. Green Bay leading Tampa Bay 34-12. They must lose, Green Bay, for the Giants to get into the playoffs. And they must beat Dallas. Brown to Hampton. And Robbie Hampton gets the 1st down. Stopped by Dixon Edwards.
Hey, the Giants are taking it to this Cowboy defense now. You know, and the fans know this Giants football, Pat. They're starting to give them a standing ovation. They know that they went through a tough part. They went through 7 losses, and boy, that was tough. That was tough on this group. That was tough on these players and coaches. They toughed through it, and then they've made a heck of a comeback, whether they get into playoffs or not.
They won their first 3. They lost 7. And now this will make 6 in a row. They've won if they win today. Hampton hammers to the 25. Stopped by Larry Brown. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Giants and the National Football League is prohibited.
Barry Switzer was calling for a timeout. In fact, he just got a timeout there, trying to get one before the 2-minute warning.
15-10 Giants. The Giants 15, Dallas 10, and the Giants marching mostly on the ground. They're at the Dallas 26. At the end of the game, John and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. Difficult choice today. Dave Brown and Rodney Hampton will more than likely handle the ball, along with Brian Williams, the center. Hampton Takes it outside near a first down. Stopped by Dixon Edwards and Robert Jones.
Yeah, the Giants have done a good job of what Dan Reeves was talking about yesterday, is keeping those two Cowboys safeties, Washington and Woodson, out of the run game by using that slot formation. And you haven't heard Washington making a lot of tackles, and you haven't heard Darren Woodson making a lot of tackles.
Nope.
So they've made their running game. They've played it basically against the defensive line and linebackers of the Cowboys.
First down, Giants. 2 minutes and 28 seconds left to play. 15-10. The Giants lead the Cowboys. Santa's still here. You better leave and get to work, Mr. Claus. Santa in dark glasses over here. The guy next to him, it's like he's waiting for some parts. Another Santa.
That Santa's always raising his hands like it's good.
It is good. Get up. Help me down the chimney.
I think that Santa's trying to figure out again, if you give a T, you kick it the way of the arrow or against the arrow. They still haven't figured that out.
That's this week's debate. First down, Giants. Brown gives to Hampton, and Hampton slashes down to about the 17.
Yeah, I was talking about how this is old Giant football. You know, the Giants this half have had the ball over 21 minutes. That's a frustrating thing for Barry Switzer, and the Cowboys is you want to do things and you want to get the ball back, and that's why he's been taking all his timeouts to get the ball back, because the Giants have really had it this whole second half.
Keep grinding it out. 2nd and 5. That's their kind of game.
And I think when you grind it out, you have to go and credit that offensive line of Williams and Roberts. Lance Smith, I think, has done a good job this year. 2 tackles. Elliott and Riesenberg both been beat up, gutting it up today, and I think they've gotten control, this offensive line of the Giants, even though they're beat up. I mean, there's Lance Smith, number 61, 2 bad ankles, 2 bad knees, but they did everything they had to. They emptied their buckets today.
This drive, 12 plays, 68 yards, 6 minutes and 58 seconds in this drive.
And that's the thing that gives your offense confidence, makes these big offensive linemen feel good. And on the other side of the line, really frustrates that team that has to stand on the sideline and wait to get the ball back.
2nd and 5. Hampton inside the 15. Stopped by Tolbert, but close to a first down. Today's game is being produced by Bob Stinner and directed by Sandy Grossman. Studio is produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. We get the 2-minute warning. The Giants on the move, and they lead the Cowboys 15-10. Giant ball, 3rd and 1. And about the Cowboy 14-yard line. The Giants leading 15-10. The weather forecast overnight was vicious, but it turned out not to be that bad.
You know, that was when Barry Switzer, they got on the airplane and they said it was going to be like 60-mile-an-hour winds and rain, and that's when he decided that he wasn't going to play Troy Aikman today. And, of course, it wasn't that bad, so he played him a little.
Rodney Hampton, first down, Giants. The Cowboys don't have any timeouts left, and we have less than 2 minutes.
And that's why the Giants are starting to celebrate. They're in the huddle. They know that they don't have to do anything now. There's no way that the Cowboys can get the ball back.
No way they can stop the clock.
They may not be in the playoffs, but they did their part. These fans did their part. The coaches did their part. The players did their part, and that's all you can do.
To lose 7 in a row and wind up 9-7. That's pretty doggone good.
And the Cowboys, they have to think, they know they're feeling that they got 2 more games to get to the Super Bowl, but they don't look like a Super Bowl team right now.
They just have to get things healthy and get that machine, the pieces back, and then get some oil on it, as Barry Switzer said.
And you know, and you have to have some doubts. I mean, that they were playing very well until the 49er game, and then after they played the 49ers, they haven't played well since. And I think this Giant team, even though their season will probably end here today, will feel good about themselves all off season.
It'll be a mixed emotion Christmas for them. Closing out with 6 consecutive wins. And a positive frame of mind, but not in the playoffs. It doesn't appear. Reeves and Switzer. Merry Christmas. Troy Aikman said he wanted to play the first half, and he started, got banged around a little, and they took him out. And the centers talk. And the guards talk. And the reporters look for interviews. (15-10), the Giants over the Cowboys. Number 88, Mike Sherrard, the Miller Lite player of the game. He's got a good number. Final score here at Giants Stadium. The Giants 15, the Cowboys 10. Coming up, it's the NASDAQ stock market postgame report. JB and Terry will get you up to date on all of today's NFL action with scores and highlights from around the NFL. That's all next on the NASDAQ stock market postgame report.